Okay, so recently Sony released a firmware beta for the PlayStation 5, which introduced features like Dolby Atmos. And part of that, it seems like a subset of people who received that firmware are now getting invites to take a look at PlayStation 5 cloud streaming, which is looking quite interesting from several perspectives because it is full game PlayStation 5 streaming, which we haven't seen to date. Secondly, it seems to be 4K streaming, which apparently we haven't seen to date. But Tom was telling me earlier in the week that the PS4 game streaming on PlayStation actually seems to be pretty good. Lots to talk about here. Obviously, John, I'm not expecting you to be hugely excited by this. It seems to be a feature aimed at the very high-end PlayStation subscription tier at the moment. But, you know, it is going to be additive. It's not going to take away from your PlayStation 5 games, obviously. Any thoughts on this one?
I mean, the quote, "This means as a premium member, it'll be easier to jump into your favorite games without downloading them first to your PS5 console." This statement it's just rattling around in my head. It's this idea of like your favorite games, you're going to play them in lower quality. Like the games you love the most, you're going to just accept this lower quality presentation. It's like you buy a 4K movie. It's like you can insert the disc, but what if you don't want to insert that disc? And we'll just give you a 240p YouTube version or something. Like that's what it feels like. It's just like maximum convenience for lower quality, and these are supposedly your favorite games. So
you've not seen it, John. You say it's 240p. That's ridiculous.
It's not going to be that bad. I'm sure it's going to be fine, but like it's not going to be better than native playing them on the hardware.
No, it's not. No, I mean I think that's kind of like the sort of given at the moment. It's optional. It's not going to be as high fidelity, but it could be more convenient.
I'm just having a go at this. You see companies use this favorite term all the time in these sort of things, and I think it's hilarious that they're like, it's always your favorite. You can play all your favorite games on the service. You know, it's like, I don't know, man.
Are you suggesting it's a curated list of titles that will actually have access? But you know, who's to say what your favorite game is?
Exactly. I don't know. I can't. I am. The people accuse us of being biased on many things, but I will 100% admit that I am not. I remain biased against streaming, even though I've been impressed by some solutions, such as NVIDIA's streaming service, which admittedly was extremely cool, but still not the way I'd play a game.
Okay. Alex, thoughts on this one?
Well, I mean, it's good to see them upping the quality, where I would say it's been a while since we've seen xCloud being changed much at all.
Yeah. So I mean, xCloud's still 1080p.
Yeah. So I feel like this is a good way to push forward on the Sony side. I mean, I won't play games with this way. This is not targeted at me.
No.
It's actually interesting to say play your favorite games, because I think this is targeted at people like an emerging market, and less so people from the existing, like hard software market or downloaded software market. So it's interesting to say that. But I don't know. It's good to see. I can't really say too much more than that.
Well, Insider Gaming, Tom Henderson once again comes up with the goods on PlayStation technology with a strategically placed leak, which seems to be suggesting that Sony has a project name for this. It's Project Kronos. And essentially it seems, well, he's saying that Sony has a total of 28 data centers across 15 metros for the PlayStation 5 cloud streaming rollout. The plan is to launch the feature fully in financial year 23, which is basically, now until March 24. There's also an interesting thing about the technological side of things, where apparently Sony's Future Technology Group has designed a completely new network storage solution based on PCI Express, NTB, which leverages NTB and the PS5 I/O co-processors. The final product is a custom storage server under the code name Cura, which reads up to 5 gigabytes per second with less than 1 millisecond latency. It's important to point out that the 1 millisecond latency isn't gameplay response, it's storage response. A couple of points I'd like to make on that. First of all, why is it that all of these code names are sort of like serial killer code names? We have like Project Trinity, PlayStation 5 Pro is literally the serial killer from Dexter. Project Scorpio, Xbox One X, literally the serial killer from Dirty Harry.
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
Kronos would be an interesting one. But...
The name Kura at least makes sense because that can be the word for like warehouse in Japanese. So
storage,
right?
That kind of makes sense for like a giant data center related thing.
Yeah, this custom storage server is quite interesting because if you think about it, the PlayStation 5 local storage is extremely fast, extremely bandwidth heavy. For a cloud system, they're going to need a server infrastructure setup that basically allows that level of speed and bandwidth across a multitude of PlayStation 5 units that are integrated into server blades. And if you've got like, I don't know, a library of 200,000-300,000 games, you can't have those 1,000 games sitting on a conventional PlayStation 5 SSD. They're going to need some mass storage solution to make this happen. And I think that's what Tom Henderson's article is talking about here. It's basically a custom form of the PlayStation 5 that can plumb into this custom storage solution.
So all joking aside, I do think what this is sort of like paving the pathway forward for the Project Q or whatever they call it now, the handheld, right?
Possibly,
like, clearly they're winding up or getting their services prepared for that product to launch, in which case, regardless of how you feel about the product itself, like a higher end streaming solution could be quite good on a small portable device like that in terms of image quality. Yes. So there is at least hope that what they will release will look and perform well, because I think some of our concerns with that thing was that their current streaming solution with PS Now in the past wasn't great, right? So this sounds like they're trying to make massive steps forward in terms of improving image quality and performance.
Yeah, and if some of that research basically filters down into a better remote play from local consoles, I'd be all for it. I mean, that's kind of always been our stance on the Q handheld. It's just that remote play is a bit rubbish at the moment. It's not great. It's mediocre. It needs improvement.
So this
possibly
might be
the cloud. Yeah, the cloud is one potential route forward, and there may be implications for better sort of quality from the local solution as well. Yeah, I mean, we're going to be keeping an eye on this. I've been trying to actually find or get access to this solution. I've asked Sony, they're looking into it, and I actually asked our supporters if anyone has access, but nobody seems to. So I'm curious.
I don't have access either.
Yeah, I'm curious who has access. I mean, I saw that an email is going out to select people who had the firmware. Yeah. So maybe only one of the servers has been activated.
One of the metros
purposes. One of the metros. Yeah.
No, Alex, it's just literally one server. They just turn on the one server.
Yeah, well, we'll be following this with much interest. Also very curious to see what more serial killer console code names are going to come up. The Durango serial killer.